Have you ever wanted to know how to find the best stocks to trade daily? This video is for you. Welcome everyone, my name is Pat Mitchell. I've been a professional day trader for the past 11 years, and I'm here to give you high-level professional day trading content all here for free on YouTube and on X. So let's get into it. I'm gonna fire up these charts and we're gonna go over how to scan for stocks, my personal method for finding stocks to trade each and every day. I'm going to go over two specific methods in this and give you the pros and cons of both. Let's rock and roll, folks. Okay, so for this tutorial, we're going to be using TradingView. That is the charting software that I use. I used to use TC2000. That would be fine. But I didn't like a few things that they were doing, so I ended up canceling and switching over to TradingView, which in my opinion is a far superior charting software, but you're free to use whatever software you want. And whatever scanner or screener you're going to be using, it's going to be basically the same, roughly the same settings and parameters. It might be slightly different on your software, but for the most part, it's going to be the same. So let's just dive right into this. So like I said, there are two specific methods that we're going to be doing. First, I'm going to be going over the traditional scanner method. And then at the end, the second method, I'm going to be telling you exactly what I trade and why I do what I do. And you would be very wise to wait till the end to find this out, because I'm telling you, once you do this and you switch to this method, you will never go back. But let's go over some scans and let's do this. So let me pop this out a little bit here. So right now I have the daily chart up. I've got a watch list. I'm just going to move this watch list in a little bit. We don't need all of this here on the screener. So now let's talk about our parameters. So on TradingView, you can go through all sorts of different markets. The American, Indian, German, and so on. We're going to be sticking with the US markets. Now, you do have the ability, if you have a watch list that you compile over the years, you can then use your watch list to scan for these parameters. But for this, we're going to be using a very simple parameters to trade off of. So let's talk about price. Well, personally, I trade options. Now, don't let that freak you out. Don't let that scare you. Stop. Just hang tight. I don't trade options in the traditional sense. I don't worry about these ridiculous Greeks and everything else. For what I do not need any of that. I trade options the exact same way you would trade stocks. There's literally no difference. You click buy and you click sell where you want to buy on the actual stock chart. I do not use an options chart at all, other than to show my entries. That's it. Okay. So for me, the reason why I love doing that is because you have essentially like penny stock volatility and gains in very low moving stocks like SPY or Qs or Apple. It just basically goes exponential on those types of gains because you're using options. So that's a whole other topic of discussion for another time. But a lot of people stray away from working with higher price stocks and they err on the side of penny stocks because of that, because they are underfunded. Guys, there's a much better way of doing this. I've been doing this for years, and it is, once I made that switch, I would never go back. Never go back. Options, to me, are the only way to do it. A lot of people think they're risky. In my opinion, they're actually, you're taking on less risk. But again, that's a topic for another time. So you can choose your price. So let's say for most of you that are going to be watching this and using a stock screener, which I actually do not use, and we'll get into my method here in a few minutes, but let's go $10 and below. And then your percentage change, if you wanted to keep an eye on stocks that are already moving, that already have that slight bump up, but without going into a crazy, you don't want to capture something that's already made the move. What you would want to do is set something in the direction of 5% or above, something that's just starting to move. Now with $10 stocks and below, so you're basically your traditional penny stocks, you might want to move that up to 10%. or set a manual setup where it would be like from 10% to 20%. Just that initial move that's maybe about to have a bigger move. So I'm not going to put anything on that, but I did want to explain that that's where you would use that parameter. Now, your market cap, if you want something that is these smaller companies, then you would want to set basically 2 billion roughly and below. You could go 10 billion and below. It's not really a lot. Like small caps are traditionally 300 million to 2 billion. So we'll put it on that. We'll work with more so traditional penny stocks in this example. Now, your PE, you don't need any of that, guys. We're not going after fundamentals. We're basically just looking for things that we can scan by our eye. But if you don't want to do it by your eye and actually go through all these charts, maybe let's set a parameter for the sake of this and let's go to that 20% and above. And on these settings so far, all you have are two that made the move of 24% and 200%. So we're going to take that off. So then obviously we have more stocks to work with. And then I can just show you right now how we can manually scan for stocks. So what you would want to do, and I'll just draw it for you here if you pay attention to this daily chart. So if we have a move that's starting to come down like this on the daily, and it bounces and it starts pulling back just into support, that's something you would want to be taking a look at, because as traders, we want to be buying at support. So you can wait for support and then obviously come up with targets. That would be more of a swing trading setup, but you get the idea. There's lots of different daily chart setups. This video is not that. I can always put that one out. If you guys would like me to do that, just leave a comment below and I'd be more than willing to show you daily chart setups that work really, really well in my experience. So that's that. You want to be buying stocks at support. So let's just really quickly go through these and let's see if we can find some that would be, there. This is perfect right here. Now, your volume is something you're going to want to scan for, and I'm going to put that up here in a second. If you're able to scan for volume, you want to be scanning for volume that on every single day it trades. Now, here's a catch-22. You're going to hear a lot of people say and spit out a bunch of numbers, and I'm going to school you guys a little bit, because a lot of people will say you want to be working with stocks 1 million shares traded on the day or above. That's not always the case. If you're looking to buy coming down into support, it's selling off and the volume is going to be very low because the momentum is dried up, because it's pulling back into support. So like I said, if we are selling off and then it bounces and then it starts pulling back into support like this, you're not necessarily going to have a lot of volume there because it's drying up. The volume will come in as soon as it comes into that support. And then once it starts breaking these ranges, that's when that volume really kicks in. But from a day trading perspective, yes, you do want to be trading stocks that have a minimum of 1 million shares traded on the day. But don't let that stray you away for something that obviously on this chart, right? Like there's some days here that it trades 500,000 shares. So what do? Not look at this chart at all. You have to look at the overall volume on here. And the overall volume, once the move starts coming in, you have more than enough volume. And that's the better way of looking at volume. Don't just dismiss everything that's under 1 million shares. You're going to miss the plays that are going and about to come in. So just a nice little note there that that's what you would want to be doing and looking at. So on this is a absolutely, in my opinion, a perfect trade. We have this support here, right? We got this beautiful support right here. It's already started to prove that it wants to come down into that. So what you would do in this situation is if it gaps up come Monday morning, wait for a sell-off into Friday's highs, and then the previous close, Friday's highs, high of day would be your first entry, and then you would average in basically taking another kick of the cat, another entry into the previous close, and your entire risk on it would have to be at lows here, which isn't a lot of risk. It's only about 20, 30 cents on this. So that's actually a really, really nice one. So you would want to add that to your watch list and potentially be watching this come Monday morning. Now, by the time this video comes out, we'll see what it does. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go to the moon or anything like that. It's definitely not. But what I'm saying is it is a nice potential stock to buy here, down here at support. And that's what you would want to be looking for. And I could go through this. There are so many different stock parameters, and like there's obviously scanning software like Trade Ideas. I used to be a big advocate of it when I was looking for more so momentum based stocks. My strategy has always remained the same, but the way I choose my stocks are very, very different. So there's a million and one different ways, but you can go through all of these different settings and simply tweak it. And then once you hit enter, your stocks will pop up, and then you want to simply be going over these stocks to take a look. So that's how you can scan for stocks in the traditional sense. So now let me show you exactly how I scan for my stocks. So you can see Trick Trades up here. This is my watch list every day, guys. This is all I trade, SPY and Qs. So you may be wondering, well, it's not really scanning. And you're right, it's not scanning. So years ago, I have what I call my basket of stocks. It is 16 stocks that I have the potential to work with. It's stocks like Apple, AMD, MU, SQ, Intel, Microsoft, AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, those stocks. Okay, that's what I trade. Now, over the years, the reason why I've said to focus on a very narrow, small basket of stocks is because each and every one of these stocks, they have their own personality. And I'm going to explain and tell you exactly why they have their own personality. So, and I've been saying this for years. I have videos on YouTube that you could go back probably 7 years where I'm saying the exact same thing I'm telling you right now. So when it comes to the personality of these stocks, let's take Tesla, for example. Tesla is a very momentum-based stock, okay? You're going to have a lot of people that are looking for the big gains, the gamblers. We're just going to put them in a basket of personality called the gamblers. Now, I'm not saying all gamblers trade Tesla. I'm sure there's professional traders that trade Tesla. Don't jump down my throat here. Just hear what I'm actually saying. So you're going to have a lot of people that want those high returns. They want to make money instead of trading for the process and trading to trade well. And if you do that, the results will come. Okay, so I hope you follow. So that's Tesla. That's why Tesla trades the way it does, because all, or at least the majority of traders that trade Tesla want those huge returns. Okay, now let's take AMD. AMD is heavily institutionally traded. Okay, now you're going to have retail traders that trade it as well. But because, and this is why I love AMD, it's not performing the best right now. That's why it's off the list right now. But AMD, because it's so heavily institutionally traded, institutional traders have to trade by the rules. They're not erratic. They don't trade without a strategy. They trade with a strategy. They have very specific price points that they have to buy. And that's it. So that's why it is such a clean moving stock. Now, the one thing you have to note about stocks like that are heavily institutionally traded is institutional traders will set traps for retail, but they're very easy to pick out once you know what you're doing. And again, a video for another time. But you see the two groups, and they both trade like that day in and day out. And you can take something like Apple or NVIDIA. NVIDIA is actually a really good example because NVIDIA takes almost both of those pools of traders, the ones that trade by the rules and are highly professional. And then you have the other side, the gamblers, or the ones that are looking more so for momentum. It's kind of a combination. So you kind of can get the best of both worlds with that. So each and every stock has its own personality, basically, and it becomes a self-fulfilling type of thing because of the people that are trading it. If you're trading off of a scanner, and this is why I don't necessarily agree with trading off of scanners, and you should trade off of a very small focus group of stocks. If you have no no history with that chart and it's a brand new chart and you immediately start clicking buttons, sure, you might do all right. But again, guys, there's a lot of new traders and traders that have found consistency that aren't thinking long term, that don't understand how odds truly work. Like 10% make it. Everybody has heard that. 90% fail, 10% make it. Whatever the number is, it doesn't fucking matter. That's just to get initial consistency. So to make it to 5 years, that is 1% of all retail traders that try this. 1% make it 5 years. And yes, these numbers are accurate. To make it to 10 years, and I've been trading for 11 years, to make it to 10 years, to legitimately be trading consistently and pulling in consistent profits, that is 0.1% of that 1% from the 5 years. That's what I'm talking about. So if we know this, and even without the 5 year and the 10-year numbers, throw that off to the side for now. Let's just take 90% and 10%. So 10% of people try this, make it into a level of consistency. Those numbers and odds are not the greatest. We all know this, right? So why wouldn't you want to narrow your focus in your basket of stocks to give yourself the best odds of success, to get to actually personally know these stocks and how they move, what their traps are, what it does when numbers are released, what it does when news is released, whatever it is. You'll get to know the personality of the stock. How often does it hold support? Is it 50%, 40%, 30%? Every time it touches support, what does it do? Is it 70%, 80%? What is it? And you get to know this over the years. It's really not that complicated. The problem is retail traders, you guys, make it difficult on yourselves. And it's like, that's not me being a jerk or anything like that. It's just, that's simply the truth. I've trained over 40,000 traders, 45,000 traders at this point through the years. And I see the same pattern happen all the time. And ever since I've narrowed down the focus to only trade SPY and only trade Qs, the results speak for itself because we know these stocks like the back of our hands. So give yourself the best foot forward and the best advantage and the best odds, and simply narrow your focus. Now, I understand that this is a video about setting up scanners. I get that. But I do videos like this to hopefully, I'll show you how to set up a scanner. I'll show you how to do it. But I genuinely hope people listen to this because there is a far better way to day trade. And I know all of these people on YouTube that are out there, man, I get it. They're telling you to trade momentum stocks and everything else. I would be willing to bet. I would actually bet my entire net worth that if you were to check whether they are actually genuinely legitimate or not, or how much money they actually make trading, it's probably a lie. The odds dictate that. So take it from someone that is here just to give you straight facts and straight information. Take it from me. I've been doing this a long time, guys. I've tried basically everything. And when you narrow your focus, good things can happen. So on that note, folks, if you guys want to learn further how to become a successful day trader, come to tricktrades.com. If not, that's fine. No sweat, guys. If that's not your thing and you want to continue to check out my free stuff here on YouTube, by all means do it. But please like and please subscribe because I think that is only fair. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Adios.